What's going on, everyone? We got to cover Near Protocol. As you can see, we are at $2.09 right now, and Near Protocol is currently down 16% in the last 2 weeks. We actually had a double top here, and we'll talk about what happened here. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. Let's get straight into it. So as you can see right here, like I was talking about before, we did have a double top inside of Near Protocol, and double tops are bearish signals. So that is definitely a bearish signal right there. But we are still above the 50-day moving average, and we're above the 200-day moving average. The 50-day is the red line, 200 days the white line. So we're still above both moving averages. We did have a bull flag. As we know, bull flags are bullish signals. We had a bull flag, but what ended up happening is when we tried to go up from that bull flag, we got rejected at that resistance at $3.08. And that is exactly why we started to pull back right there. So we had a double top pretty much. So that is what you call a bearish double top. So what we're waiting for is this right here is the 200, the 50-day moving average on the 4-hour chart. That's what we're pretty much waiting on right now. And right now we're still below it. We're still below it. So it's pretty interesting to see, to say the least. But we are pretty much going through this little bear pennant, and we'll see what happens at the end of that little bear pennant. And bear pennants obviously is a bearish signal, it's a bearish sign. So if we get rejected at this moving average, then we're going to come down even further, and it'll probably come down to the 200-day moving average, which is at $1.50. So there's a possibility we can break down to $1.50 if we don't break upwards from here. And if we're looking at different signals to see what would cause us to break out upwards, right? Well, on our 4-hour chart, the percent R trend exhaustion is kind of curving back upwards here, both the short-term and long-term trend. Short-term trends, the white line here, long-term trends, that blue line, and they're both kind of curving upwards, almost as if it wants to go back up from there. And then we kind of have a little bit of divergence here. Like if you look at this, we can use this as an example of bullish divergence. We're getting lower lows, and then we're getting lower lows on the charts, and then we're getting higher lows on the MACD. Because these are higher lows right here on the MACD, technically, right? But are we getting the same lower lows on the chart? We kind of did get a lower low right here, but not necessarily right here. So we'll see what happens here, whether or not it decides to break out upwards or not. I guess we'll see if it can stay above that 50-day moving average. We'll have to see that. And then the daily chart here this is the percent R trend exhaustion. We are seeing the long-term trend is being a little stubborn here. It's staying up. Hopefully it does something like this, right? Where it has a reversal and goes back upwards like how I did right there. As you can see with the white line here, the short-term trend, we want it to come back upwards like that. So it kind of looks a little bit similar to how it looked right there and how it looked there. Is it going to do the same exact thing? That's the big question right there. Yeah, so we got to see if it'll actually do that. And then this is the daily chart. As you can see here, we don't want to go below the 50-day moving average on the daily chart, because then it'll bring us to the 200-day again at $1.50. So we got to be very, very cautious of that. Now, this is the MACD here. We're seeing that selling pressure is slowing down. So we'll see if we can get some more buying pressure to push it back upwards. But let's say it does push back upwards. This can just be a greater case for a big overextended bull flag, right? This could be a big overextended bull flag. And like I said, it could be. It doesn't necessarily mean it has to be. I'm just saying it could be. Like it could build something like that to where it looks like it's another bull flag, and then it just goes off. So that's a possibility, but I'm not saying that that's what's happening. I'm just saying, anything is possible at this point. So you got to take every single possibility into account. But when we look at it from a more longer term perspective, and we look at the weekly chart, I would say this thing definitely has some more room to go, but we're still in the bear market of, the market, right? We're still in bear market. So like I was saying with every single other project, I think this is going to be pulling back, right? Because for one, the percent R trend exhaustion, this is the weekly chart, by the way. We're seeing the white lines, which is the short-term trend, breaking far past the long-term trend, which is the blue line. Every time this happens, we always see it pulling back and dumping. That we had so much stuff going on inside of the stock market yesterday. And just to kind of show you what I'm talking about, if we look at the S&P 500 yesterday, you'll see the same exact thing that I'm talking about. So whenever you see this, for next time, be careful. So if you see the short-term trend on the percent R trend exhaustion, which is the white line, breaking far past the long-term trend here. As you can see here, that means you're going to have a big pullback, a big dump. It's going to continue to dump until that long-term trend follows it upwards, right? And this is what it looks like. So we can now zoom in all the way here, and this is literally what it looks like. It's just, like a stair step downwards. So this is what's happening right now in the stock market. I think something similar could happen to NIR if NIR doesn't get its act straight here on the weekly chart. Because again, let's go ahead and scroll all the way back here and pull up NIR. If you look at what's happening with NIR on the percent on trend exhaustion, you can see that it's definitely looking like it's about to pull back here on the percent on trend exhaustion. So we're going to see that pullback, I believe, inside of NIR. So don't be alarmed. I think we'll pull back to $1.50. And then we'll see what happens from there. We'll see if it continues downwards or if it tries to break out upwards, right? But we are still in a bear market until the end of the year, in my personal opinion. But yeah, we also did see that bullish divergence here on the charts for the weekly chart. As you can see, bullish divergence is lower lows on the charts while you're having higher lows on the MACD. And we're seeing those higher lows on the MACD and then the lower lows on the chart here. So like I'm saying, like I'm bullish on NIR Protocol long term. Like everything is still pointing bullish with NIR Protocol except the short term. The short term is a little bit rocky right now. I think we're going to get some pullbacks, and I think we should be cautious after those pullbacks, right? But I think that we're inside, like going in the right direction here for NIR Protocol. I think we're going in the right direction. So we're hitting the 50-day. Let's see if we break out upwards or if we have to pull back to hit the 200-day, which is at $1.50, and then we can go up from there. So I think that is NIR Protocol's fate. Now, there is a possibility that the percent on trend exhaustion can just keep riling up from here. But as of right now, it's not looking like that as of right now. So that's why I'm saying, like, let's see if we'll pull back to 150 and then continue upwards or something like that. That's kind of how I'm looking at it. But anyways, that's all I got for the technicals here. I do want to talk about some other stuff on NIR. This is coming from this guy on Twitter, Michael or whatever his name is. He said NIR is stuck in a range here, and I think that we'll start to see a clear direction when Bitcoin moves. If Bitcoin moves upwards, equals signs of strength for the entire market. So we do need Bitcoin to move up for NIR to be strong as well. And then he said also liquidity moves back into the assets which have shown strength prior to the entire correction of Bitcoin, which is NIR Protocol, Hype, Zcash, WLD, Ondo, those ones. So I would definitely say that if Bitcoin starts showing some more strength, I think we'll see the same inside of NIR. NIR just got done again with bullish divergence, right? So NIR is supposed to be bullish because bullish divergence, we're seeing lower lows on the chart and higher lows on the MACD. And as that happens, you can see like NIR has just now broken its 50-day moving average and its 200-day moving average. So there's no reason to be super bearish on NIR, but there is reason for the short term to look a little bit bearish because of Bitcoin and bringing everything down in the market. But you can see NIR was on the track to having a huge breakout here. But this is just going to be a little bit of a pullback. Like I think we're going to get a little bit of a pullback here, and then we're going to continue upwards. And that's going to look like a little bit of these lightly green shaded candlesticks. And then we're going to get the darker green ones once it looks like it's about to sell off completely. Then it's going to trick everyone and trap everyone, and then it's just going to start taking off. So again, what would that look like? That would look like the price pulling back a little bit more, let's say to $1.50 possibly. Right? If it is going to pull back, I think $1.50 at the lowest before the next rally. If it even pulls back to $1.50. That's kind of how I'm looking at it with NIR Protocol though. So yeah, that's how I'm seeing it. And then this other guy, he says, here's the sauce. Whales and smart money are positioning into NIR by waiting for small and weak hands like you to G out. They let retail shake out on the dips and cool downs, watch volume dry up, then quietly ape in and accumulate the real supply while the chart looks dead. This exact setup has played out before. So if this is happening and this is what this person is saying, then maybe we have a pullback, right? Another pullback that causes this. But he's saying that it breaks out and then pulls back and then goes up. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But NIR is definitely in a good position. So as long as Bitcoin can stay out of the way because of this divergence here, this is just a perfect setup for a nice breakout. Perfect setup. So we'll wait and see what happens with that. And in the meantime, go ahead, hit the like button, subscribe. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. And leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think about this. If you want to do some DeFi perps trading on the base chain, go ahead and check out the link in the description for Avantisfy. And check out the link in the description for Chart Prime, best automated trading indicators out there. And as always, I'll be back with another video.